Welcome, professional wrestling fans, to the PW Fan. The PW Fan is a pro wrestling podcast created by fans for the fans. And we appreciate you joining for episode 44. And we are back after taking the week off. And there's a lot to discuss today. I'm your host, the old school wrestling fan, collector, barber, musician, Star Wars fan. I got too many hobbies. Talk wrestling, Tim Gilbert.
And I'm your host, the architect of pro wrestling podcast and Funko Pop collector, and also a big Star Wars fan. I'll add that in here today. Andy.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Where is the no-selling indie wrestling fan and football lover Jeremy? Because he's not here. Well, it is Jeremy's birthday weekend, and he is out enjoying the birthday weekend. And we love Jeremy very much and hope he's having a great time. And he will be joining us back next week for episode 45, which is going to be our SummerSlam episode. And Jeremy is the MVP of the podcast. He is the one who does all the editing, make sure that we sound decent, and cut stuff out so we don't sound like idiots. So, Jeremy, we love you, man. It's weird not having you here, even though Andy and I are brothers. You are such an important part of the show, and we can't wait to have you back next week. Well, anyway, this week we're going to be talking about Vince fucking McMahon retiring. I can't believe I'm even saying that in a real sentence. Triple H is now the head of creative and head of talent relations. AEW's Barbed Wire Everywhere match. Ugh. The Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view, and more. But before we start, if you want to go to our YouTube channel, give us please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. All of our old episodes are on there. Lots of video episodes. Hoping to do some more just like vlogging video content soon. And if you want to follow us on social media, it's at the PW Fan. You can find us on most of your social media sites. T-shirts, prowrestlingtees.com/the PW Fan to get your pocket logo shirt. Hopefully getting some new designs this year. And so that takes care of all that stuff. Andy, I'm going to pass it over to you, man, and let's get into our weekly show. We got a lot to talk about.
Alrighty. Yeah, we do have a lot to talk about. And like Tim said, next week is going to be our SummerSlam episode. So we'll get into that then. There are a couple of matches that were announced for it this week, so we'll talk about that. But yeah, before we get into the actual shows of the week, let's talk about the biggest one in the wrestling community. Vince McMahon
I can't
retired.
I can't believe this, man. I can't believe it, Andy.
Now, I mean, I would assume that it was all basically caused by these allegations that are going against him. Would you agree?
Yeah, and I saw some updated stuff that at this point there's about $14 million that's been unaccounted for at this point. That to keep it simple, this is money that should have been it's money missing, essentially. Or
so we did use company money.
Yeah, it's not looking good. The amount has gone up and up and up. There is tons of actual
went from 3 to 12 to 14 now.
To 14, yeah. And I don't know what this extra $2 million is coming from, because last time we talked about it, it was 12. I haven't looked deep enough into it. I just saw before we started recording tonight some breaking news that, yeah, it's looking like WWE is going to have to do some damage control with their investors and kind of figure out what's going on from here. This is a big deal. I mean, pretty much the only thing that was ever going to get Vince McMahon to give up control of his company is if something like this happened or he, passed away. Because I don't see another.
I figured he'd keep working until he died.
Well, that's what everybody thought. I mean, everybody thought that there's no way this would happen, but he must have started making some questionable decisions around 2006. That's what it's looking like on record. And since then, it's finally caught up with him. So he is retiring, and that means that Stephanie McMahon and what's the other Khan's name? I'm sorry.
Nick Khan.
Nick Khan, not Tony Khan, to be confused with the AEW owner. So Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan will be the CEO, right?
I believe so. Now, Vince still holds the majority when it comes to shares. Even though he's retired, when it comes to the company, he still holds the majority of shares and voting power. That's hasn't gone away.
There's going to be some interesting things happening because I'm not like a stocks guy at all. I'd be lying if I said I really knew anything even of the basic level. But
I don't either.
All I know is people have money wrapped up into this thing, right? Someone's going to have to answer for the money that's gone missing. And I don't know if something like that would even outweigh and veto Vince's voting and stock power. You know, it's like if it's such a big mess up, like I don't know the legalities of that. So I'm like anybody else gonna watch this unfold and see what happens. Again,
well, let's talk about because. Oh, okay, go on. Sorry.
No, I just wanted to say, like, again, I think we should reiterate not that we condone his behavior because he was in a position of power and influence, and you know what happened behind closed doors. Not all the facts are out there yet, so we'll wait. But the thing is, I think the real reason he's really stepping down is not the allegations. It's because of the money that he used to pay the people. It's not like if it was his money from his personal bank account, it's like, okay, you're kind of a scummy dude, but like, you know, it's like, okay, whatever, you know, but he's using money.
That's how it came out, was because someone was looking into the financials. It wasn't because anyone talked.
Right.
It was because the financials were.
But I think
so if he had used his own money, it probably would never come out.
But the rhetoric and the stuff that I'm seeing online, again, I just want to say that, like, I'm not saying that like his behavior and influence was okay or whatever, because I know someone's going to mishear me. But what I'm saying is he didn't get in trouble initially because of his behavior, like you're saying, Andy. He got in trouble because of its money. It has to do with something was off in the books. It's a publicly traded company, which is a big deal. They got investors and tons of investors. People have a lot of money wrapped up in this. And if money is missing or going somewhere and they narrow it down to this, I just think people assume that this is like a Me Too, I'm canceled movement. And I think it's like kind of that, like everybody's being like, oh, that's not good. But I think it's more he fucked up so bad he basically like made an error that's too bad to come back from, taking people's money and paying that kind of stuff.
I mean, honestly, the company, like the shareholders, probably don't even care about the allegations. It's more about the money missing.
It's their money. They are, you know, think about it. $14 million, dude. That's a lot of fucking money.
It's creepy old man stuff, but
right,
like, yeah, but the big deal about it is the money missing.
Right.
That's what's making the headlines. It's not the allegations, it's the money.
Now, within that, I do think it's fair to say that there is individuals who have, you know, even though they took financial buyout or payout or whatever it's called, a couple of these women have said that, you know, he did make them feel uncomfortable and they felt like they were put in a position and then they were offered money.
I mean, the whole situation's gross. Don't get me wrong.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I just want to make sure that, like, we're reporting it accurately. He's not getting canceled because he's like, you know, a quote unquote R word. It seems like he's getting ousted of his company because of his financial decisions and what he used the money for. But
yeah,
you know, anyway, moving on. But that's the whole thing. The whole thing's crazy. I can't believe that the dude is going out like this. It's pretty wild. It's the end of an era. I posted on the Instagram and like nobody really liked the post because I think Vince is like one of those subjects right now because it's like nobody wants to be like give him credit for anything, right? Because he's kind of the bad guy. But he is responsible for a lot of my childhood love of wrestling. Like, he's the mastermind behind a lot of the stuff that to this day, 20 some years later, I'm still into. So thank you, Vince, for that. You know, I'm not thanking him for being like a good human, but he did provide me with a lot of cool childhood memories. So it's crazy. But Triple H is in charge now of creative, and I'm all about that. So I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, that was my next thing. Was announced today. It was the Triple H's. Well, announced today was Triple H's head of creative, but he's also the EVP, which was announced a few days ago. So Bruce Pritchard will be working under him. Triple H was head of creative when it came to my favorite version of NXT. So there's hope.
Let me ask you this: does NXT Black and Gold come back? Do we do a transition back into getting more serious again and less of this just hokey, colorful, whatever Nickelodeon?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if is he going to be in charge of NXT 2.0?
I don't know. The next few weeks, months, this next year is going to be very interesting as how the WWE starts to change, if it really changes. You know, I don't know how much say Nick Khan has on this whole thing, and I did see that. Oh, we should mention that WWE, in our week off, WWE has announced that they are going to. Well, I don't know if it was announced officially, but it's reported that they're going to go back to being TV 14.
Just Raw.
Just Raw.
Just Raw. And now Triple H is in charge. It'll be interesting. It makes me wonder, like, if this had happened when people like Aleister Black and Andrade were still there, if they would have been treated differently or what their creative direction would have been.
Okay.
Would they have ended up leaving?
Let me ask you this. This is, again, another scenario. Gosh, I wish Jeremy was here this week, but we got to ask him about it next week. Vince is gone. Bruce Pritchard is going to have to do whatever Paul Levesque Triple H says. So even if you're like, I don't like Bruce Pritchard, but I also don't like Vince McMahon. Now Vince is gone. You're an NXT guy that went over to AEW, but Trips is your boy. You were like, man, when I was in NXT, that was
if Adam Cole
right.
was like, I'm ready to come back.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's not so like, oh, they're never coming back anymore. Now that Vince is gone, it's like, well.
But makes you think, though, too, about, do Cody and Trips have beef?
No. See, that's the thing. I think that's a misconception. Triple H is Cody's favorite wrestler. Legitimately.
I know, but like professional relationship, like I don't know, but
no, I think
I didn't know if like his push is gonna be halted.
No, they already talked. Apparently, there's like Cody did an interview. They already talked about the behind the scenes stuff, and I think they squashed the thing with the sledgehammer with the entrance all those years ago. Like, I think it's all good.
Okay.
Now.
One thing I want to say is when Vince announced he was retiring,
and here's the thing,
I was not a fan of Tony Khan. Okay, what?
And I'm just saying as a fan. I'm just saying as a fan. I know I'm kind of being annoying this week, but I'm filling the gaps without Jeremy here. But let me just say this. I feel like there might have been a point in time where Triple H didn't want certain people to rise to the top because maybe that was not in the best interest for him. But now, if he's the boss, and clearly he's never going to wrestle again with his health issues, he has literally no reason to not, even if he doesn't like the person, if they're a money draw, he knows enough to put professionalism first.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it'd be the smart business decision.
It's not like he's the champion and he's like, man, I don't want this like cool young guy to come along and like people to like him more than me. So now he's in a position where he wants the business to do good. He wants people to make money. So yeah, I don't think he'd have any reason to want anybody not to do well at this point.
Yeah. Now, I do want to say, after or the day that Vince did announce his retirement, wasn't too big of a fan on Tony Khan's tweet about it.
Yeah, it was weird. It was just like, what are you doing?
Someone needs to take Twitter from this man, or I don't know. I don't know if
I saw
I don't know what he's doing sometimes.
I saw Gerald Briscoe, who is he's one of the greatest world champions of all time, but he was basically like, in so many words, he was like, all you dumbasses who are saying you're happy Vince is retiring make me sick. Like, you wouldn't even like pro wrestling if it wasn't for him, especially if, you're a certain age bracket, which I'm like, dude, he's not lying. It's just, the whole thing sucks.
Yeah. One thing though, I wonder if it's a possibility now that Vince is retired. Could there ever be an AEW WWE crossover?
Maybe. Never say never, because why not now? So
Yeah.
let's move on from Vince. What's next?
Next is just getting to the shows this week.
All right, well, let's go.
All right. Raw this week, we had the Judgment Day just trying to recruit Dominic. Today, I believe they're in Madison Square Garden. This is Monday night right now, and they're celebrating 20 years of Rey Mysterio in WWE. I believe Edge is supposed to be coming back tonight, is the rumor, unless travel got messed up, which I did read that something was going on with travel. But
I got it on live. I'm not seeing anything yet.
So, speaking of which one, my next thing, what are your thoughts on the Edge return? What do you think is going to be the gimmick? I think the most recent promo video, they were showing like Cactus Jack's like checkered tank top. They were showing an RKO shirt. And the past ones had like Kurt Angle's medals, Eddie Guerrero.
I mean, I really don't know what he would do at this point, other than go back to like some sort of like offshoot of his original look with short hair.
His first singles run character.
Yeah, just like either that,
the short hair.
But like maybe just like a more mature version. I honestly have no idea. Obviously, the whole thing
He comes out with those glasses.
Well, obviously, the whole thing was hot-shotted because apparently Edge was like, "Look, I don't want the group to have supernatural powers. It's fucking stupid." And then the next week, he was kicked out of the group, and then they're just going to do something else with him. So,
is that what it was?
Yeah.
Whose idea was the supernatural powers?
I'm sure one of the writers. Who else would it be? Either that or Vince. But
terrible.
He cut his hair.
I figured Edge would have more of a say.
Well, he basically was like, I'm not doing this. And then they were like, okay, that's why everything felt so weird and like rushed out of nowhere. And I'm getting this from online sources. And if you want to like look that up and like look at some of like the Meltzer and what's the other one? Ringside News reports. Go ahead and look that up. But it's out there if you want to look it up.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess we'll just have to see what happens tonight on Raw and talk about it next week, leading up to SummerSlam, because I'm sure Judgment Day might have some kind of match at SummerSlam. Speaking of matches in SummerSlam, it was announced we're going to have Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair at SummerSlam. If you remember last year, Lynch returned and beat Belair in 20 seconds at SummerSlam. Even though they wrestled at Mania and she won the title, it's kind of come full circle now a year later.
I think, were we doing the podcast at that point? I think I remember talking about it live on the air. we're starting to get that far along with the show where some of these big events we already did reviews for, which is pretty cool. We'll have to go back in the archives.
I want to say no. I want to say no. I want to say we covered it in our test. Basically, we started right after SummerSlam. I think our test pod,
our pilot episode that we didn't release.
Yeah, I think we did SummerSlam.
Yeah, that's funny.
Or maybe our very first episode. Maybe we redid. No, we didn't redo it. Yeah, I think it was our test.
It's just crazy that some of these events coming up. We've been doing the weekly pod long enough where it's going to start to be. We covered some of this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, now we're finally... I'm curious of what the date is for our first release. We'll have to go back and see what it was so that we know when it has officially been a year. Mm-hmm. Also on SummerSlam announced, this is probably going to be a good match, Riddle versus Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
I'm not a big Riddle guy, but I like when he is actually serious.
That's usually in the ring when he turns it up.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been too much of a build for this. Like, I don't think the storyline's all that great. But
okay, so
the match will be good. So
episode 1 of the PW Fan came out August 27th, 2021, and it's July 25th. So
if our first episode was August 21st. August 19th was a Friday.
August 27th.
27th was our first.
27th.
Okay. So I know August 19th is a Friday. The 27th then would be a Sunday. So we're going to be recording one day after our 1 year instead of on it, but pretty close.
Pretty close. Pretty cool.
Considering how many times we switch the day of the week that we record. But
I would love to know if there's any episode 1 listeners that are still with us. If you are, please, I'm not even joking, email us at the pwfanpod at gmail.com and tell us, how long you've been with us and what your favorite part of the show is. And if you ever want to do that in general, please do. We'd love to hear from you guys. Ask questions, whatever you want. Andy, what you got next for us, buddy?
Well, last thing on that, I know our format had changed. You used to give them matches stars, and we would go through every single thing on the shows.
Full transparency. When I was doing the star ratings, I just felt like such a douchebag. I just couldn't do it anymore. I was like, it was making me cringe to do it.
Really, just keep that stuff in your own head.
Yeah, I just felt like that.
Yeah. Lastly, on Raw.
I just felt like that guy, being like,
it was 4.5 stars. They put a good effort, but it wasn't my thing.
On the Tim Forrester scale.
Yeah, I'm like,
on the Tim Forrester scale.
Let's just not do that.
Lastly, on Raw, we had Miz TV. It was actually the main event. Miz TV with Logan Paul returning. Logan Paul's not bad on the mic. I'll give him that. But he seems to be back for Miz. He attacked the Miz. Then Ciampa came in and attacked Logan, but Logan got out of it, and show capped with Logan in the ring and Ciampa and Miz on the ramp. I don't know what's going on with Ciampa. I hope they change his creative direction. But yeah, that wrapped up Raw. Let's get into Dynamite. I know you watched. You probably watched Dynamite twice. You always watch Dynamite like 2 times.
Yeah, with my daughter, it's hard to, I can't not pay attention to her when she's doing something to keep an eye on the segment. So I usually give it another run through to see if there's anything I missed.
Well, I got a couple of things to talk about. Opener was Brody King versus Darby Allin. Winner was Brody King. Malachi Black came out afterwards to attack Darby with Brody. Then Sting comes out, and there's kind of a face-off between Malachi and Sting. And then Miro comes out. And so what I'm thinking is that there's going to be a future 6-man tag match, House of Black, with Buddy Matthews against Miro, Sting, and Darby.
Yeah, which I don't hate. I like that as a match. Everybody in the match I'm a fan of. Miro, since he's come to AEW, not right in the beginning when he was kind of doing more Rusev
Who's the best man?
comedy-ish stuff, but since he kind of turned into quote-unquote beast mode or whatever, yeah, dude, I like Rusev or Miro.
Since he became the Redeemer.
Yeah, the new physical angry character is much better.
Yeah, he was paired up with Kip Sabian, who's been injured, who's married to Penelope Ford, who I haven't seen on TV in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, we eventually got Christian Cage had a match. I think it was a tag. Yeah, it was a tag match with Luchasaurus, and afterwards, Jungle Boy returns after getting taken out by Christian. Luchasaurus goes outside of the ring to stop him, but then ends up. It was a double turn. He ends up being back on Jungle Boy's side, and Christian, being the heel, runs away cowardly when they go to attack him in the ring. So Jurassic Express is back together. Christian Cage is still a shitty heel. Shitty as in like shitty person, not like crappy.
I'm just glad
Sucks.
I'm just glad Marco Stunt isn't there. Thank God.
If you're listening, Marco, which I'm sure you're not,
he's a big fan of the show.
I don't know if we're sorry.
He
He
was a big fan of the show up until about 3 seconds ago when I said that. But now he's turned it off.
So yeah, I'm sure eventually we'll get Jungle Boy versus Christian, which would probably be a really good match. It'd probably be saved for a pay-per-view. Which the next one, I mean, Fyter Fest we're going on like week what? 2, 3? I don't even know.
Hot
this is week 3, maybe week 4.
Hot take for all the AEW marks that we normally are good with everything AEW does. This is just me. Fyter Fest, thumbs down. I think they just should scrap that. It's boring. It's like, what is it?
Well, remember, it was like an actual mini pay-per-view at one point.
But now, that's
because it came after Double or Nothing.
But that's why it reminds me of like a sad reminder of a failed pay-per-view. I'm like, just let it go. It's fine.
Yeah.
No one cares.
Ricky Starks had a FTW match. FTW title match, sorry. And won, and afterwards he was talking about, because it was like an open challenge, he's doing the whole open challenge thing, and Danhausen comes out, Big Pop, and Danhausen says, he's like, your FTW whatever title, he wants to, go after it.
He doesn't
so
swear.
It looks like this.
He doesn't swear. No swearing.
So it looks like we're going to get that match this upcoming Dynamite this week, I think. I mean, it'd be so awesome if he somehow won the title. But gotta love Danhausen, man.
Danhausen breaks all the rules of what I like and don't like in wrestling. And I think it's because, I don't know, man. I give him the free pass. He's the only one, from Pockets to, fucking the Best Friends, all that stuff. Like, he's the one that I'm like, you know what? I just think this guy is like a cool guy, and I like him, and he's funny. So fuck it. Why not?
Our next segment, I'm going to let you take the lead with it. It's the FTR segment, the promo.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. Was it Dax?
Dax was talking.
Yeah, Dax was talking about his daughter and basically about the struggles that she's overcome, and he talked about a lot about their personal lives and what she's overcome. I'm just gonna say you should go look up the promo yourself. I'm not gonna try to like recreate it or anything, but it was real. And the fact that it was real made it amazing. I mean, it was sad, but it was also very inspiring at the same time. So, yeah, man, that was a great.
I think with you being a dad to a girl, it probably resonated more.
Yeah, it was really, really good. It was genuine and real, and that's the stuff that we need more of in wrestling. Not more sad stories like that. But what I'm saying, just more realness of where when someone's saying something, you get emotionally invested because, it's either coming from real experience or it's just them being themselves. But yeah, I thought that was if there was a time to call a promo beautiful, I will use the term. It was a beautiful promo.
And the purpose of the promo was the upcoming match with the Briscoes, correct?
Right. Yes, which we will get into.
Okay. Well, finally, the main event of the show was the Barbed Wire Everywhere match, Jericho versus Eddie Kingston, with the rest of the JAS up in a shark cage.
I'm gonna try to be nice during this because this is without Jeremy here. It's just me, you, and I, and this is not my thing. But I'm just gonna try to be open-minded.
I was going to say there was too much barbed wire, but it was a barbed wire everywhere match. So.
I mean, that's literally the name of the match. So
there was barbed wire at the ropes. There was barbed wire contraptions outside. Barbed wire microphone to start it. Barbed wire chairs. Barbed wire bats. Eddie Kingston somehow did not get busted open in his head. Jericho did. So Eddie isn't a quote-unquote liar anymore. He did make Jericho bleed, but Jericho ended up winning the match. And afterwards, Eddie threw Jericho out off the apron of the ring onto this barbed wire contraption, basically. I will say in the middle of the match, Ruby was out there. She was fighting Ty Conti. Then Anna Jay ran out and turned on Ruby and went back with her old friend Ty Conti. So it looks like Anna Jay is now a heel.
it was a match.
It was a match.
They did, and that's the thing. It's like they did all this physical. They did, it sucks as a fan. I really don't want to come off as disrespectful because they put their body on the line to be entertaining. It's just that's just not what I want to see, and it was bumming me out to see Jericho need to be cut out of the barbed wire at the end. But
I was
I don't know, man. Even growing up in the 90s and early 2000s with TLC matches and stuff, I guess I like that. I mean, it was cool when you're a kid.
No, it's a little bit different than all barbed wire.
It's just why are you doing this? You don't got to do it. You don't need to. I don't think it added anything to.
Please just stop this feud. Also, Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, God,
it doesn't need to go anymore.
It's been going on forever.
All right. Well, that wrapped up Dynamite. Let's get into SmackDown. There was some news that when Vince announced his retirement, Brock left the building.
So is this a work or what? What's going on here?
No, apparently he left the arena. I mean, they get their hours before he left the arena, but he showed back up at 8:30.
So he was mad that Vince was retiring.
Convincing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
So if that's legit, it's bro, he's 77 years old. How much longer did you think he was going to be doing this?
Forever. We all thought until he's dead. He would die in gorilla position.
Yeah, we also didn't bring up that note that he wrote to Talon about. He's no longer will the friendly face be there. I won't be there, but I'll be watching or whatever. It's okay.
Oh yeah. His full statement.
Yeah.
The show opened up with Stephanie McMahon, though. She announces Vince's retirement. She's getting a little emotional. And thank you, Vince chants break out.
Barely.
Unless they piped him in. I don't fucking know.
No, dude. I mean, she was forcing it pretty hard. She was thank you, Vince. People were should we? I don't know if
she was thank you, Vince.
People were is this chill?
Don't show me on TV.
I know people were looking around being is this good? I don't know if I'm allowed to do this.
Be like, are you chanting? I'm not.
Because
I'm not chanting.
you would think, think about it really. The creator of the WWE, the guy, Vince McMahon, if none of this had happened and he had just said, guys, I'm old, it's time for me to retire, he would have gotten a huge pop, like gigantic. But I think people were like, like, do we chant? Do we not? What's okay? I don't know.
I just can't stop thinking about that video I posted. It was like, get out here, you rapist. And it's like a few moments later, it's like, it was me, Austin. It was me all along. Even though he's not a rapist. He's not
Jeremy, you got to cut cut that whole part out. Andy, what's the time on there?
Well, that's WWE.
No, that's got to go. You said the R word. What's the?
Sorry, I'm just having fun with my brother. Track around 39 minutes.
All right,
39. Okay, we're gonna start in 10 seconds.
You can't say that on YouTube or it will get taken down.
Okay, 4, 3, 2, 1. After the Stephanie segment, though, at some point we had Corbin attacking Pat McAfee at the announce table. The fight ends up continuing to the backstage, and Pat eventually comes back out into the ring and cuts a promo after being separated. Pat McAfee's good on the mic. I mean, he should be. He's an announcer. But I'm actually... I like Pat McAfee. I'm looking forward to this match. I know he can go. But this feud's actually been kind of fun. Him and Corbin. Bum-ass Corbin, as he says.
Yeah, I didn't really see much of this segment, so this is going to be all you right here, Ross.
For next week, we got Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre match. Winner goes to Clash at the Castle. They've been putting this off basically for 3 weeks now. And it's going to be the first ever shillelagh match, if that's how you say it. And there's going to be a bunch of shillelaghs. You know what those are, Tim?
Yes, I know who Finley is.
Okay, well, there's going to be a bunch of those, and I guess they're fighting with them.
My name is Finlay.
And you love to fight. Yeah. So our main event, Brock comes out afterwards. It was a 6-man tag, I believe. Usos. And I don't know, against Street Profits, and I don't know. Crap, I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Theory was out there for some reason. But Brock comes out after the main event, takes out Theory with a kick and 2 F5s to close the show. Yeah. Not SmackDown, I think, was probably rewritten, considering it was done the day Vince retired. It was probably rewritten. There wasn't too much wrestling on it, more like promos and stuff.
Right.
And those kind of segments, so I'm sure it was rewritten. But we're just going to have to see when it comes to this stuff what it's going to be like moving forward. See if we notice any changes. People did point out that, like, even on commentary, the announcers seemed a little bit more relaxed. Michael Cole was referring to the fans as fans instead of WWE Universe, which is different.
Yeah, all these
I, of course, didn't pick up on it.
Maybe all these Vince-isms, things like medical facility, and he has titles, and can't say belt, and you can't say pro wrestling, and just weird stuff. So maybe all that stuff will finally start to...
Yeah. Sports entertainment, pal.
Sports entertainment.
Let's get into sports entertainment. Jericho Appreciation Society. Let's get into Rampage. There's only 2 little things I wanted to get into. Did you watch Rampage this week?
No, I really haven't been, but honestly, based off the ratings, nobody else has been either. So,
well, there's only 2 little things that I wanted to do. Claudio cut a promo, pretty good promo, talking about his match coming up with John Gresham at Death Before Dishonor. And then we had a rap battle. It was the Acclaimed versus the Ass Boys. It was pretty funny. They went back and forth like 3 times. Made some funny jokes. So if you haven't seen that, I'm sure there's a clip on YouTube. I thought it was funny though. But I'm gonna just kind of guide us through this because you're the only one out of us two that watched Death Before Dishonor, and that's how we're gonna wrap up the show this week.
Yeah, I ordered it.
So
we're not going to cover.
I'm going in the.
We're not. I didn't think we were going to cover every
order
match.
of the we don't have to. I'm just gonna go in the order of the show, and if you think it's worth talking about, talk about it. If not, I'll just say who the winner was.
Cool.
So we'll just do it that way. Opening match, though. Well, let's say this first. Jonathan Gresham requested his release before the match even started. He wanted his release from AEW and ROH. Apparently, he got in an argument with Tony Khan. Didn't like how the amount of time that him and Claudio, I guess, were given for the match, or planned to be given for the match. I guess he felt disrespected. He ended up like cussing at Tony Khan. There's more to the story if you want to read details about it, but he is
I don't
taking
think Tony
time off
Khan's
from wrestling in general.
I don't think Tony Khan is going to be giving him a big hug anytime soon.
Let's just say that, yeah. So he's apparently going to take a break from wrestling for a little bit, at least for now. But yes, the opening match was Jonathan Gresham, the current, at the time, ROH World Champion, versus Claudio Castagnoli. How was this match? Winner was Claudio, his first ever main title in any company that he's ever been in. First top title. So he is the new champion for ROH. Yeah, what you think of this match, Tim? I remember you texting about it.
I really enjoyed the match. I was surprised that it was as short as it was. And I was also surprised that it was the opening match, considering it was for the title.
ROH World Championship.
But I don't know if that's on account of maybe Grisham speaking to Khan the way that he did. Maybe he
either want to be the opener or the main event. Yeah,
I get that to a degree. It's just very weird. It's just very random to me. It just seems like out of nowhere. Interesting booking on Tony Khan's part for the show. The flow of the whole show was, I mean, it was all right. It just was different than what I thought.
Good match, though.
Yeah, it was excellent. A lot of good wrestling. If you're a hardcore fan, you'll know what a bridge is. Grisham's really good at doing like a nice bridge, and he did them a few times.
He's like a technical guy.
Yeah, a lot of cool suplexes. Claudio did the swing at one point, which I was like, okay, you're still going to do that. Interesting. I thought that was maybe going to just be like a WWE thing, but no, he's still doing it. Really didn't get the pop that I thought it was. Like after like 2 times around, people like kind of were like into it, but then you know how people usually count and do the big like 1, 2, it was just kind of like dead. It was weird. I thought that people would be more into it.
What now? The arena was it? What kind of arena was it in?
Like a legit. Now I don't know if I've been seeing some images lately of some Dynamites and stuff where it looks super packed on one side of the arena, and then they only shoot that one side, and the other sides have tarps and stuff. But it was in a building
like where we saw.
Yeah, it looked like
AEW.
It looks like a building where like an NXT takeover or like a Dynamite.
Well, it's like we saw ROH at the building that we saw Dynamite before. We saw a ROH pay-per-view, so it's probably
it looked good.
That size.
It looked like a good building. It was like about the same production quality as AEW. Maybe not as intense with the screen / Titantron, whatever you want to call it. It was a little bit smaller, but the video production and the camera and everything, it looked great.
All right. Next match was The Righteous versus Dalton Castle and The Boys. I can just run through this if you want me to.
Didn't Dalton Castle's team win? I didn't. I was kind of in and out paying attention to this match.
It was for the ROH 6-man tag team championships, and Dalton Castle and the Boys were your winners.
Yeah, they don't do anything for me. No offense to them.
Oh, I love it when they announce "and with the boys."
I see. I don't.
We were cracking up when we saw.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, we were laughing because it was stupid.
They've been with him for so long. You did say you want to talk about this next match, Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia for the ROH Pure Championship.
Yeah, man, this is my type of wrestling right here. RASSLIN. That's wrestling. Yeah, this was good stuff, man. This is hard hitting, back and forth. They got into a slap fight at one point, but not like it was very physical. I was like somebody's eardrums getting busted. But if you like physical,
that kind, okay.
If you like physical, technical wrestling, that was a cool match to watch.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention this week on Dynamite, coming up, Bryan Danielson's supposed to be back.
Okay,
just as a heads up, everyone. Yeah, so the winner was Wheeler Yuta. He retained his Pure Championship.
Yep.
Next we had Roosh versus Dragon Lee. Winner was Roosh.
I feel bad. I don't really remember much about this match.
Well, Roosh is Andrade's new buddy that he brought in on his team.
At this point in the show, to ROH's credit, there were some bangers. So I was starting to get kind of tired out because I'm looking at the lineup now. The rest of the matches from here on out are all like pretty good, including the women's match was really good. So,
which is next, Mercedes Martinez versus Serena Deeb for the ROH Women's Championship. Mercedes Martinez retained.
Good technical pro wrestling
match.
Good technical pro wrestling match. Physical.
Yeah, Serena Deeb's good.
They both are. Yeah.
With technical. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good match. I enjoyed it, and honestly, I thought it was better than I enjoyed it more than the Roosh match beforehand, to be honest with you.
After that, we had Samoa Joe versus Jay Lethal for the ROH World Television Championship. Winner was Samoa Joe. He retained.
Yeah, it was a really good match. To me, it was cool. It was like such a callback to just classic Ring of Honor stuff from late 2000s and then 2010 and even like some Impact era, in TNA. But it was really cool to see them wrestle and see that ROH logo in a big arena. And I don't know, it was a neat match, and I thought it was good. For some reason, I kind of figured that Samoa Joe was going to win. But yeah, I really enjoyed the match overall, and I would recommend. I mean, the show is $40. If you want to watch a good pro wrestling show and just get a pay-per-view real quick and see some good wrestling, and you got $40 to kill, I recommend ordering this show, because the last match alone tonight was worth the price of the whole show.
Now, did Jay Lethal's big guy Satnam Singh get involved, or was it just a one-on-one kind of thing?
I don't remember him getting involved. To me, it was just like a good one-on-one contest from what I remember. I'm trying to think if there's any spot. I'm trying to remember if there's any spots where they did like an interference or anything, but nothing off the top of my head. But I should have probably taken notes for that one.
Okay. And yeah, our main event was FTR versus the Briscoes 2. It was a 2 out of 3 falls for the ROH Tag Team Championships. Winners were FTR. I'm guessing each team got at least one fall, Tim?
Yeah, and dude, the match was so good. Just made me realize it sucks that we'll probably never see the Briscoes in AEW because of their unfortunate opinions on some things. But yeah, man, the match was so good, and FTR, I'm just so happy that they're finally getting the recognition that, I think for so long people were just taken aback with all the moves, right? Like that the Young Bucks did, and I think for so long wrestling, everybody was like, "Oh my God, did you see that? That guy did like a, triple backflip tombstone pile driver or whatever." And I feel like finally it's starting to get back to people like realize what a really good match and what a really good wrestler looks like. And that's why, dude, FTR is not flashy at all. They are just good at what they do, and they are solid, real professional wrestlers, and people love them. The best tag team in the world.
I did read that there was a scare for Dax. He almost got injured or something.
Oh,
Maybe you didn't pick up on it during the match.
No, I didn't.
Today.
I didn't pick up on anything.
I never saw. I don't think. Oh, maybe only Jeremy did. We never saw the first FTR versus Briscoes match either. But I heard that was really good.
I remember seeing like highlights from it, but at the time, wasn't that during COVID and like?
I thought it was like right when they purchased ROH AEW.
I don't remember that.
I think it was
at all.
Super Card of Honor. I thought it was Super Card of Honor actually.
I don't remember. I know that there's
Or
some,
Best in the World, one of the two.
there's some hardcore Ring of Honor fans, so I feel bad. We'll have to do that on some housekeeping next week.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Tim, that wraps up the show.
Yeah, man. Anyway, Death Before Dishonor was a great show. Like I said, it was $40 on Bleacher Report. I think you get to keep it for a long time on there. And almost every match was really good, so I definitely recommend it. Jeremy, we miss you, buddy. Can't wait to have you back next week and join us next week for episode 45 when we're going to be talking about SummerSlam. Once again, if you want to follow us on social media, look for us at the PW Fan. And if you're into Funko collectibles and just collectibles in general, check out Andy's Instagram at the 410 Fan Bros. Thank you guys so much, and join us next week. We'll see you then.